Welcome to the 27th week of this year's In Times Like These recap. Now, let's get into this. Starting with Pacho Torres, who arrives at Vivian Jones's apartment, informing her that Quinlan Franklin refused to expose her previous affair with Gianni Russo, but that he plans to get Dr. Terry Murphy to expose her ex-husband, Finnegan Burke's affair with Heidi Russo. JJ Dorval is on the phone with Yulisa Torres, informing that Kiev Burke is in a relationship with Yvette Mitchell, but Yulisa doesn't buy it. She goes on to state that the only reason Yvette would date Kiev is to get close to JJ, except JJ doesn't understand what Yvette sees in him. Yulisa tells JJ about his unique qualities, assuring him that he's more than the mental illness he battles. In the Dorval living room, Vanessa Dorval informs her mother, Shelley, that Ben Russo is looking into the stalker and how he believes the stalker is someone she knows. Vanessa goes on to tell her mother how guilty she feels about Max Russo being involved in her mess, wondering if she should still be friends with him. Shelley encourages her daughter to not let the stalker to make her lose a friend like Max. Outside of Ben's office, Max stumbles across a note near his car, then turns around to see a masked maniac holding a knife, unaware that it's Kiev Burke. Kiev remains silent, then walks past Max. As soon as Kiev leaves, Max calls Ben, and Ben rushes towards his younger brother's direction. Max tells his older brother about the note that was left for him. Ben decides to take a picture of the note while the police examines it. His reason for taking a picture of the envelope is because the envelope is handwritten. So Ben plans to compare the stalker's handwriting to Kiev's. Kiev meets with Yvette Mitchell at the mall, informing her that he told JJ that the two of them were dating, making Yvette furious that he didn't go along with the plan. Kiev expresses how frustrated he is that their plan hasn't gotten him any closer to Vanessa. Out of frustration, Yvette tells Kiev that Vanessa will never like him. As soon as he hears those words, Yvette pretends to apologize, telling Kiev that she'll speak with JJ herself. Finnegan arrives at the Russo estate, meeting with the Russos, informing them that the stalker sent Max a photo of Elvira's crime scene. While this news troubles the entire family, Ben breaks into the Burke house, finds Kiev's handwriting, and matches it with the note which was left for Max. This confirms to Ben that Kiev is Vanessa's stalker. Quinlan Franklin and Nichelle Torres spend time together at Theodosius's palace. Quinlan hears how unaffectionate her younger brother Zeke has been towards Nichelle lately. To appease her new friend's concerns, Quinlan promises to set Zeke straight. At Valley Park Memorial Hospital, Pacho meets with Dr. Terry Murphy in her office, telling her that he would like her to expose Finnegan and Heidi's affair on national television. When Terry asks Pacho how it would benefit him, he tells Terry how Heidi has caused him issues and wants her to pay. He goes on to tell Terry that Finnegan hadn't truly faced the consequences for cheating on her. Pondering over this fact, Terry agrees to expose her ex-husband's prior affair. On July 4th at Theodosius's palace, Isabel and Pacho are approached by Isidore. When Pacho leaves his mother alone, Isidore expresses that his only desire is to reminisce about the summers they spent together. After reminiscing, Isabel admits that she valued the time she had with Isidore, but expresses how she's not ready to go down that road again. Yvette runs into JJ, trying to convince him that her relationship with Kiev is real, but he still doesn't buy it. Vanessa and Yulisa appear, but when Vanessa catches Max, she leaves the group. Yvette tells Yulisa how she feels like she's poising JJ against her. Yulisa reminds Yvette that her lies keep JJ away. Angered, Yvette walks off as JJ and Yulisa enjoy the fireworks. Ben informs Max that he confirmed that Kiev was the stalker, but tells Max that neither the police nor Vanessa can know about it. Max expresses his frustrations. Not long after Quinlan Franklin walks up to Ben, Vanessa walks up to Max. When Ben and Quinlan walk off, Vanessa tells Max how she feels sorry about the stalker sending him Elvira's crime scene photos. Max tells Vanessa that he's looking forward to putting a stop to the stalker once and for all. Just as Jeremiah and Shelley speak with Wanda and Udell, Wanda spots Owen and excuses herself. Once she catches up with Owen, she asks her friend why he's confronting Udell behind her back. Owen tells Wanda that he had to do something since they weren't communicating like before. Angered, she tells Owen how much it hurts to not be believed. Owen tells Wanda how it also hurts knowing that she's not being completely honest with him. Since Owen refuses to believe her reasoning for keeping their distance, Wanda tells him that she thinks that they should end their friendship. Owen tells Wanda how he doesn't think she means that either. Wanda tells Owen that she means whatever she says, telling Owen not to doubt her when she says something. Owen decides to be honest with her, asking Wanda if he's disgusted by her. As soon as she questions why, Owen puts his hand on the side of her face, sharing that the more he thought about it, he realized that a moment like this is what pulled her away, asking Wanda if she wants him out of his life. Wanda tells Owen that she doesn't want him out of her life. As soon as Owen tells Wanda that he doesn't want to walk out of her life, he kisses Wanda. Once that happens, Wanda rushes off. Udell calls Wanda, checking in on her since she seemed shaken during July 4th. Thinking back to Owen kissing her, she claims that she's okay. As soon as Udell ends the call, telling his wife that he loves her, Owen enters her office. He tells Wanda that they need to speak about what happened on the 4th. She tries playing dumb, but he asks Wanda not to pretend like they didn't kiss. The response Wanda gives is that they couldn't have kissed because she loved her husband, made vows with him, and has loved him for years. When Owen tells Wanda that he can't stop thinking about what happened between them, Wanda tells Owen how she can't help him with that at all. Owen tells Wanda that she can help by admitting that she can't stop thinking about him at all. She claims that all she's been thinking about is the love she has for her family, and that she won't do anything to risk losing it. It's clear to Owen that Wanda isn't ready to have this conversation, telling her that she knows where to find him when she is ready. Meeting with Kiev at the mall, Yvette tells him that she just needs to make Ulysses seem like she's wrong in her suspicions. Just when Yvette asks Kiev to give her updates about how close Ulysses is getting to JJ, he feels like it's unfair since she can't give him intel about Vanessa, even though he has a camera in Vanessa's room. She informs Kiev of how cozy Vanessa was with Max during the 4th, causing Kiev to rage and rush off. As Vanessa sits outside of her family estate, she's troubled to see her stalker wearing a mask. At Quinlan's apartment, Zeke tells his sister how much Nichelle is fond of her. Quinlan tells Zeke how fond she is of Nichelle as well, telling him how much it hurts to keep his secret from her. When Zeke tells his sister that watching X-rated content doesn't hurt Nichelle, Quinlan tells him that it does, informing her younger brother that Nichelle feels like he sees her as unattractive. Pacho arrives at Vivian's apartment, telling her how much he missed her on the 4th of July. She tells Pacho that she did miss him too. This causes him to wonder why she couldn't just show up at Theodosius's palace, since it was a public event. Vivian reminds Pacho that she couldn't risk losing everything that belongs to her. When Pacho asks for a specific answer, Vivian feels like he isn't ready to handle the entire truth. Vivian, with reluctance, is about to tell Pacho that she is Lorenzo Russo's illegitimate daughter. Suddenly, she's interrupted when Pacho receives a notification about the news program he greenlit. As Dr. Terry Murphy is shown on national TV, she exposes her ex-husband, Finnegan Burke, for having an affair with Heidi Russo. Welcome to the 28th week of this year's In Times Like These recap. Now, let's get into this. Starting with Heidi Russo, who is confronted by her husband Gianni, his parents Lorenzo and Clarice, and Gianni's brother Isidore. They inform her that Dr. Terry Murphy exposed Heidi's affair with Commissioner Finnegan Burke on national television. Heidi feels like Quinlan and Pacho worked together to get Terry to expose the affair. Since Heidi is unable to find proof of that, Isidore suggests that she and Gianni present themselves as a united front. He advises Johnny to confess to sleeping with Quinlan, which Johnny reluctantly agrees to do. Alan Russo arrives at Terry's apartment, asking his older lover why she didn't give him a heads up about exposing Finnegan and Heidi's affair. As soon as Terry apologizes, Finnegan bangs on the door. As soon as she convinces Alan to go into the other room, Finnegan enters, threatening to expose Terry's darkest secret. Since Terry doesn't want Alan to overhear that she helped his great-grandfather Dante Russo take his own life, Terry prevents Finnegan from speaking any further. Once Finnegan is gone, Alan returns to the room, promising to do whatever it takes to protect her from Finnegan and his own family. At Theodosius Palace, Zeke Franklin speaks with his girlfriend Nichelle Torres, telling her how Quinlan explained how he's been making her feel lately, assuring her that he still values her. When Nichelle asks Zeke why they haven't hooked up all summer, Yulisa enters the room, then Zeke leaves. Once Yulisa wonders what that was all about, Nichelle tells her younger sister that Zeke assured her that he would never give girls like Yvette Mitchell the time of day. As soon as Yulisa tells Nichelle that Yvette is supposedly dating Keeve Burke, it makes Nichelle feel a bit suspicious. As soon as Vanessa sees the masked stalker, unaware that it's Keeve Burke, she runs into her family estate, asking JJ to call the police. When the police, Jeremiah, Shelley, and Raymond arrive, Vanessa is relieved. Unfortunately, she's troubled that the stalker didn't leave any clues that could reveal his identity. As Keeve rides his bike, he tells himself how he didn't want to scare Vanessa, but that he doesn't want her to have any peace, since he's upset that she's getting close to Max Russo. Nichelle bumps into Yvette at the mall, questioning Yvette about her relationship with Kiev. Yvette tries to assure Nichelle that she's committed to Kiev and hasn't paid Zeke any attention. Despite Yvette's claims, Nichelle doesn't buy it, warning Yvette to stay away. Max Russo shows up at the Dorval estate as Vanessa Dorval informs him about the stalker showing up at her house. This troubles him to the point where he confesses that he crossed paths with the stalker in the past, informing her that the stalker had a knife. This not only troubles Vanessa, but she is frustrated that Max kept this to himself. He tells Vanessa that Ben knows, but that doesn't give her comfort since the stalker is still at large. Filled with concern, Max spits out that Keeve is her stalker, but doesn't go into detail as to what Ben found in order to protect her. Since Max failed to provide her with any proof, Vanessa asks him to leave her family's estate. Quinlan Franklin enters Pacho Torres' office, upset that he allowed Terry to expose Heidi and Finnegan's affair. She goes on to warn him that the Russos will retaliate against her, and that Ben will be upset that she told Pacho about the affair. Heidi enters her son Ben's office, telling him that she believes Quinlan and Pacho are behind Terry's public confession. At first, Ben doesn't buy into his mother's theory. Since Quinlan hasn't shown herself to be trustworthy before, Heidi reminds her son that Quinlan couldn't be trusted in the past and is certain that she can't be trusted in the present. Terry is confronted by Isidore at the hospital, telling her that she made a huge mistake by exposing Heidi's affair. He demands that she endorse Heidi as district attorney, or else he'd expose her for helping his grandfather Dante to take his own life. As Finnegan hides from the media in Harley's room at Theodosius's palace, Alan arrives and is disgusted. Once again, Finnegan and Alan go back and forth. Alan also warns his mother that the longer she stays with Finnegan, the more likely she'll be heartbroken just like Terry. As soon as Alan leaves, Harley begins to wonder why Alan constantly cares about how Terry was affected when Finnegan was unfaithful. When Ben arrives at Quinlan's apartment, she reveals to him that she told Pacho about Heidi and Finnegan's affair. Ben is upset by this, questioning why she would do that. She reveals that Heidi had been causing issues for her and Pacho, and that Pacho must have worked with Terry to get back at Heidi. As for Ben, he expresses his disappointment in Quinlan for keeping him in the dark, walking out on his girlfriend. When Yulisa arrives at the Dorval estate, Vanessa informs her friend how Max believes that Keeve is the stalker. Yulisa reminds Vanessa that Keeve has always given her bad vibes, but Vanessa explains that she doesn't see Keeve as a threat. Despite that, since Keeve isn't a born-again Christian, Yulisa advises her friend to keep an eye on Keeve. Isabel informs Yulisa that Nichelle seems upset. So when Yulisa checks up on her older sister, Nichelle tells Yulisa about how concerned she is that Zeke might be cheating on her again with Yvette. Yulissa advises her sister not to jump to conclusions and speak with Zeke about her suspicions. At the mall, Yvette tells Kiev that since no one seems to believe that they're a genuine couple, that they need to put an end to their scheme. Kiev isn't ready to give up just yet, urging Yvette to come up with another plan. Since her parents Wanda and Udell will be out of town the following weekend, Yvette plans to throw a house party and make people think that she and Kiev are sleeping together. Quinlan tries calling Ben, but he ignores the call. Max walks in, telling his older brother how he told Vanessa that Kiev is her stalker. Ben is upset by this, since he feels like that would only put Vanessa in even more danger, but Max assures his brother that Vanessa doesn't believe him. Since Vanessa was told, Ben quickly comes up with a new plan. Because it's clear to him that Max still has feelings for Vanessa's, he encourages his brother to make Vanessa grow feelings for him. That way, Kiev would be able to notice and confess to his crimes in a jealous rage. At Vivian Jones's apartment, Pacho expresses how guilty he feels for losing Quinlan's respect by betraying her trust. Just as Vivian tries to assure Pacho that Quinlan won't stay mad at him forever, he questions if she wanted to see the chaos. Pacho goes on about how Isidore is busy pursuing Isabel and that the Russos are faced with public embarrassment due to Heidi's affair, making Pacho state that Vivian must be loving this. Once Vivian responds that it's just business, Pacho feels like Vivian has a personal agenda, telling her that he desires to know what it is. As he pleads for answers, assuring Vivian that he'll always stand by her side, his hand touches the side of Vivian's face and almost kisses her. They're interrupted as Pacho receives a notification that Gianni and Heidi are on another news network, where Gianni confesses to cheating on Heidi with Quinlan. Can't get enough of the crazy world of In Times Like These? Then, treat yourself to a binge watch of In Times Like These. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You're not ready for what's to come, but tune in anyway.